Let's see how it goes for today. Man, September, March 24th for Season 9, Episode 15, Walking Dead. We're going to connect in a little bit here. Hopefully the connection is good, and we got it updated the software for it, so hopefully it doesn't buffer on there too. So what's going on, everybody? What's up, Bailey? Negan's Mayo Sandwiches, Lincoln, Viddy, Madison, a bunch of people are going to be joining. Mark, as always, thank you guys for joining me today and every Sunday that we do a live stream. It means a lot to me. It truly does, to take the time, because you don't have to be here. I appreciate you being here. It's Happy Fair Day, Festivus for the rest of us, right, kind of deal. But I got my red hat on for, the fair, if it's going to be interested to talk about it. So obviously, if you're watching it on the replay, spoiler warning. If you're watching it now, spoiler warning too, because people are going to ask questions. We're going to do some talking and Q&A and a bunch of things there as well. So I'm excited about everything going around for tonight's episode. It looks to be an extended episode. We had the news that it was going to be an extended episode, and then it talked about it being, Into the Badlands was going to come into that. And then we didn't know how it was going to play out because we have The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 15. And then we have, Into the Badlands. And then we have Talking Dead. So that kind of sucks. So we got to wait that much longer for Talking Dead. Well, Bailey Saxton already asking some questions here. Q&A, Bri. Where do you think Lydia's story is going after Henry's death? Well, I think Lydia, as a lot of characters, will be going to the hilltop, and I think she'll be connected with Daryl. I think that is the father figure role that we'll have with Lydia and Daryl. I think that's where they go from there. I don't know if she'll have a love interest. Maybe it's Gage, if he survives on there too, because I'm not sure what's going to happen in episode 916. But again, this is not the season finale. It is 9:15. We have one more big episode, and the Pikes are coming today. I know a lot of people were worried about it being a cliffhanger. Are we going to get the Pikes in the distance, and somebody walks towards them, and then we got to wait till October to find out? Luckily, that is not happening. I'm glad it's not happening, because that sucks to have a cliffhanger of that magnitude. If we have a smaller cliffhanger, I could deal with that. I could see that. I can understand that, because they do little things like that. If we got to wait till next week to find out some answers, that's okay, as long as we get those answers. So there's a lot of great questions. I went on my little end there too. So Melissa Latard, are the Pikes confirmed? As far as I know, I don't ever like to say 100% confirmed, but I go with the information from the various spoiler sites, Spoiling Dead Fans being one of them too. So I would say that they are pretty confirmed. 100%, we'll just have to wait and see. But we look to be having 10 victims, not 12 like in the comics. Does that mean we're going to get 10 in the episode right here? Maybe. Well, we're going to get 10. We're going to get 10 victims. Will we get 2 more victims in the season 9 finale, 9/16? That would be interesting on there too. So, local meme lord, opinion on Henry's death. I can see why they're doing it, to build up Carol and the badass Carol moment, but does it need to happen? No. I kind of feel like the idea is a little too much. Henry is supposed to take the place of Carl, and Carl is gone, and that really pissed a lot of people off. I can understand what they're doing here with Carl not being around, because it would be a little bit for you would have Enid and Carl and Lydia and Alden, and it's like a little too much, right? If Enid's there and Alden are there, they can be together. If Henry is there, he can be with Lydia. But if Carl was there, he would most likely be with Enid, right? Because that's what the relationship was. But I just don't know if killing off Henry is the right kind of thing. I don't think it's going to, for the majority of fans, it's not going to bother anybody that Henry is gone. But, yeah, CJ Page. I doubt Alpha mistakes Gage for Henry. I just doubt that's what it is. I know that's a theory. Some people are telling me that people are going around saying that Gage is going to be, the person on the Pikes instead of Henry. Well, I would assume that people have seen the episode and they've seen screeners and they talked about it, is where some of the spoilers come from. People just don't pull it out of thin air, especially when they get this information. And we'll have to wait and see tonight, but I think Gage lives. And with my red fair theory, we talk about red objects. We talk about red objects being the common connection with the people who are picked. And if you agree with the theory, if you don't, it's all good. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I just bring up things that make sense. So, yeah. We'll see what happens, CJ Page. But, yeah, everyone's going to like, oh, yeah, the Spoiling Dead fan says this, and Ninja says this, and she says this, and they say that. Well, maybe, maybe not. But Brady Drake, shout out Brady Drake. But we'll have to wait and see tonight. I mean, the way I see it is that we're going to have 5 people from Hilltop. 5 people from Hilltop. Look at the banner, the hand, 5. 2 red peppers, 2 bigger characters. Whether you believe they're bigger characters or not who are killed off, we'll see if it happens the way it does, but I believe it will. The fair is happening tonight. It should be a joyous occasion for some, but not for everyone, especially when Alpha infiltrates the fair. So we're going to see Alpha infiltrate the fair in a green dress and a big old hat from the lady from Hilltop. Is it Hilda? Is it Hildy? We'll have to see. We've never met this character before. We've seen her in this episode, just kind of like Jocelyn. We see the character come in and then goes bye-bye. So let's talk about last week's episode a little bit. I thought it was a good episode overall. I did like that they had a flashback episode that wasn't just a flashback episode. It was a connecting point of back, forward, and present day timeline. So they kind of set some things up. They kind of did some things with explaining the X scars. But I don't know if I believe that you would just find a friend like that. You would just find a Jocelyn like that. You would find some child army like that, and they would be responsible for the X scars on 2 of the badass characters of The Walking Dead. And it's just like, all right, we got it. We came, we left Jocelyn. But I do believe that we'll see Winnie again. I don't know any information about that. That's just my theory that Winnie will be around. Winnie the Whisperer Winnie. I know a lot of people are asking about the 90-minute episode. I think the runtime is 9 o'clock to 10:27, so it's an hour and 57 minutes. We'll see how many commercials that is. We'll see how many this is, how many that it is. We'll see if we actually get 57-minute runtime and, a bunch of commercials for sure, because they do love commercials on AMC to make that money for sure. So Brady Drake wants another shout out again, so my mom can hear. What do you want me to yell it from the mountaintop? Brady Drake. Jordy, Q&A. Will we see one of the Pike victims really get beheaded? I don't think so. I don't think we're actually going to see that happen, because in the comics what happens is that Alpha infiltrates the fair. She goes around, and if you look at the panels, you can see the people who are picked, and you can see people looking for those people. Okay, and what I assume is going to be Gage looking for Addie and Rodney. So if it's Addie and Rodney are picked, Gage is like, hey guys, Addie, Rodney, where you at? If Tammy Rose is picked, you'll have most likely Earl be like, Tammy, and just nowhere to be found because she was taken away. And there will be reanimated heads on pikes, which is pretty awesome. So pretty cool stuff. Janet, where are you at? I just saw a bunch of people post some things. Janet, Q&A, do you think we could possibly see some of the deaths through the victim's point of view? The way we don't know for sure who was killed until the pikes are revealed. I think it'll be a little different. But I ultimately think that the people that are connected with the victims will be talking about them and looking for them, asking for them too. So I think everybody that gets picked is connected with another character, except Tara. Tara's one of those people that I guess anybody could ask for Tara, because she is the leader of Hilltop, so somebody could be looking for that too. But Hilltop's taking a beating here. We're going to lose some characters potentially in this episode. And whether you agree with the choices or not, it's what they want to do. And part of me thinks it's underwhelming because we lost some characters this season, last season, and since season 7, we lost 2 beloved characters. And the Negan lineup was tough for people to watch. It was tough for people to really get on board with losing Glenn and Abraham. And then it took a hit and people were like, I'm not watching anymore. We lost Glenn. We lost Abraham. We're not watching no more. And then they lost Rick on the show. And people were like, I'm definitely not watching. But since we lost Carl and Rick and really part-time Maggie, and we're going to lose some other characters for sure, I think they went underwhelming for a variety of reasons because we lost Jesus. That was a huge deviation, but it's kind of interesting because if we lose these characters and people are like, okay, what do we do now? Is that it? What? We still have one more episode and we still could lose another character another way. Will we lose Ezekiel? Will we lose Rosita still? Will we lose Sadiq? Will we lose Eugene? Father Gabriel? I would think somebody is going to be connected with that love quadrangle. We could lose a member of that, right? Will it be Sadiq? Will it be Rosita, Father Gabriel, or Eugene? We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens there too. Great question, Lauren Rohn. Does Alpha have the red machete? No idea. Nobody knows unless you saw the episode. But that would be pretty awesome if she, put the heads on pikes, if she had the red machete that belonged to Rick. And I hope it does. I hope it comes around full circle, and I love when the shows do that, and I love when things happen there where stuff comes back around, and it would be pretty awesome for sure. So I know a lot of people are like, what if Dog's on a pike? Who would want to see that, right? And there was a lot of people that thought this character or that character, and I could go either way, especially with, some people from Kingdom. We lost one member from Kingdom, which is Henry. We're going to lose 2 highwaymen potentially. A character that just came around. So it's almost like we got to know these characters. Like we met Addie and Rodney in season 9, episode 1 briefly. And then we met them later on in the first half of season 9. And it's like, okay, so they're kind of a newer character. Tammy Rose was a new character. The Highwaymen, two new characters. DJ is a little on the newer side, for sure, a more extended role. The biggest ones are Enid and Tara. And you can debate if they're bigger characters or not, or this and that. And people love to post stuff on, comments and stuff there too. But in my opinion, Rosita and Ezekiel are far bigger characters than Tara and Enid. Especially Enid. Enid came around in season 6. She was a smaller character. She was connected with Carl. It was just one of those things that if we lost Ezekiel, that would be a bigger loss than Enid, in my opinion. Again, these are just my opinions. You can say if it's not on there too. So I don't think losing Ozzy is a big deal, but I kind of wanted the Highwaymen to come rescue someone in the Whisperer War, be involved with the idea, like Dwight does. But he's not there. He's not going to be in the Whisperer War, most likely, because he's going to be with Fear the Walking Dead. So it doesn't make sense for that to happen. But everyone's asking a good question. Will they ever find a cure? I don't think they'll ever find a cure. Zexer Alex, I don't know, ZXer, Clemson 1993, 1993 Q&A. Do you think Rosita could take Father Gabriel's death in the comics in the show? That would be horrific. That would be terrible. I do not want to see that. If you don't know what Father Gabriel's death is in the comics, it's pretty awesome. And it's pretty terrible at the same time. But I would not want to see Rosita happen that way. That would just be too much to handle, especially, for what it is. But I hope the Whisperer War is awesome. To be honest, I hope Negan has a bigger part in season 10, maybe even season 9, episode 16. We'll see. Who lets him out? Is it Michonne? Is it Judith? Is it Laura? Is it Jimmy? Is it somebody else? Is it just a decision to let him out because he needs to help him, I hope it is. Yeah, some people are Team Negan, like Lincoln. I'm not a Team Negan guy. I'm still Team Rick. But I'm definitely on the side that the survivors need Negan's help. And this is going to be the main reason why Negan was kept alive. And it needs to live up to the reason why you kept him alive to go against the Whisperers, right? If you kept him alive to just lock him in a jail cell for so long, and then he gets out, then he goes back in the jail cell, and that's really the story of Negan. That's a wasted thing with Negan. I think it's so much. But Bam Bam GT, why do you like Jimmy so much? Well, I know the guy on Instagram, and he seems like a cool guy. And also, he's been there before. He's been there around so much, too. Why not give him a part? Why not give him a little bit of role? He's been there guarding Negan. He could have somewhat of a role in there, too. Do I like Jimmy so much? Sure, why not? Why not like a character like that? He's not a terrible character like Jared or anybody like that. He's a savior that's kind of in the background. And I at least think he should have a credited part on The Walking Dead. He's been there for, so long. But if you look him up on IMDb, it just says uncredited savior or whatever. He's not even anything there, which is crappy. So, but I'm liking the way it's going. I want to see what's going on, what happened with that. But super chat, live chat, you want to let me know your questions in the chat as well. I think it's lagging a little bit. I don't know what the deal is with YouTube with it. I think it has to do with YouTube's new thing with beta. They have this like YouTube thing. The creator studio is not the same as it was before, and the studio is part of the YouTube thing. So I apologize for the stream. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, it's going all right on my end here. It's kind of pausing for what we're seeing, but I don't know what the deal is with that. It could be what they're doing. I updated my software and did all that, so I didn't know what the deal was for trying to, make sure from our end we're doing good. So, Grapey Dapey back in the house. Q&A, do you think there will be a big final death in episode 16? I think something could happen. I don't know what's going to happen for it because we just don't know. I just know the word is that we're getting snow. Yay, snow. And if we're getting snow in 9/16, the pikes are already done. So will it pick up right at the end of 9/15? But it ends with Sadiq giving a speech, evidently, that he says there too. And why is it not Ezekiel? Why is it not someone else? It's Sadiq. So we'll have to see what's up with Sadiq, because is he just telling us the truth? Did he get beat up by the Sabers, by the Whisperers? Is he lying? Is he trying to stay alive? Don't know. So, hi, Ashley Miller. Thank you guys for joining me today and on there every Sunday. We're going to be back next Sunday as well to talk about the big season finale that should be happening. Talking Dead tonight is Scott Gimple and Sadiq Avinash and a surprise guest for Talking Dead. It's coming on so late. I think it's on at like 11:30 or something around there. 11:27 potentially. 11:30 for Talking Dead. And to be honest with you, it's kind of crazy to think about it being the show after the show. Never have I ever seen a show that's the after show of a show. There was never a show that was for The Sopranos or Seinfeld or this or Breaking. It was just so many shows that didn't have an after show, which would have been pretty cool to have an after show of The Sopranos or, other big shows that came around like Lost or something. But this is the only show that you have to have the other show to make sure you didn't miss things on the show that you just watched, for sure, It's kind of crazy to think that you have to watch Talking Dead to have questions answered. To me, it's kind of bad storytelling if you have to do that. You should just be able to watch the show and understand what happened. You don't have to watch The Talking Dead. Like, if I didn't watch Talking Dead, and sometimes I don't after there, and I do my review, and they're like, if you watch Talking Dead, it was answered. You saw Connie with this, and they talk about it on there. Well, if I didn't watch it, then how can I understand that, right? I don't know. So what it is, but... Izzy T, how can I get a signed copy of your books? That's a great question, because what happens is it's in the publisher, computer system, and it gets printed that way. And I would have to do a Q&A or a book signing on there too. And I don't want people to send me their books, and I sign it and send it back. I have met people at conventions, and I've signed a bunch of their books on there too, and it was a cool way to do it. That's probably the best way to do it, is to meet at a convention or something there down the road, maybe in Sonoy. That'd be cool. So tonight's episode 9/15, the penultimate episode, the calm before. So it's the calm before, right? And then 9/16 is the storm. So it's the calm before the storm. So it's going to be interesting to see how stuff connects. A lot of people would think that we were going to have the pike, say the pikes would be how the season ends, but it's not going to be that way, which is great. We don't have to have that. Madison Cook. Hello, Madison Cook. And hello to everybody else who's here. So, McLyrical, do you think everyone at the fair dies? No, I don't think everyone at the fair dies. Rick on radio, please respond. Juan Garcia, it could happen. That would be pretty awesome if it does. They're going to probably try and boost the signal at the fair, because we saw Father Gabriel, Eugene, and Rosita with an antenna in Eugene's hand, and they're probably going somewhere to put it up and have the signal being boosted, amplified, have a relay for the signal to be sent out. So that could be the start of it, where we hear Rick on the radio. It could be a nice callback to season 1 over the radio. That would be pretty cool. Is it Stephanie? Is it Jadis? Is it Rick? Is it somebody else? I don't know. Mark Simmons, my man Mark. Bri, how many seasons do you think? I'm going to go with 11 or 12. I would be happy with 11 or 12 seasons of The Walking Dead, and then it takes a break. I think it makes the most sense, for sure. Julie Films TV, Q&A. Would you be glad if Henry's dead? I would be angry, even if he's not my favorite character. Well, I don't know how you're going to feel about this episode then, but I'm okay with it happening. Henry's not my favorite character by any means, but it's one of those things that could be part of it, and, it is what it is. The writers are going to do what they do. Even though I do like Matt Lintz, he's not a bad actor for sure. I think he's doing a good job with the Henry character. I don't think Henry is a terrible actor or a terrible part. He's just a teenager that is being in a world of a zombie apocalypse, and he sees an attractive young female trying to be with her, be in a relationship with her, save her, protect her, and there's nothing wrong with that. Is it me, or is it just me, that every time Lydia and Henry kiss, I'm like, man, her breath must be so bad. Because those whispers must be stankin', bad breath, smelling terrible. It's just crazy. Johnny Cash Money, do you think the Spoiling Dead fans is accurate in their Pike predictions? Yes. I think they're very accurate. And if you go on Instagram and you see all this stuff and you see the one big Instagram channel that talks about this and that on there too, the person gets all their information, most of their information about the spoiler stuff, most likely from the Spoiling Dead fans, because it's funny when the Q&A comes out by the Spoiling Dead fans, and then all these facts come up around the same time. Coincidence? Could be, but I don't think so. We'll have to see. But overall, information is information. The facts, just give them a shout out and credit. Give credit where credit's due. But the person's like, I only trust their information. Well, it's the same information that's going around from the one source, but it's just ridiculous. But overall, I'm excited for tonight's episode, and I think Season 9 has been a great step and a good step in the right direction for the future of The Walking Dead. Hopefully we'll get some information about the movies coming up. I know a lot of people ask me all the time. I don't know what's going to happen with the movies because we don't know any information. I would assume they'll start filming around the same time in the studio and just things there too. And I wonder if the sanctuary has fallen and no one is going to be using the sanctuary because they're going to use that for the filming of the Rick Grimes movies. It makes sense, right? Because we're going to see Alexandria, we're going to see Hilltop, we're going to see different avenues for Season 10, probably maybe a little bit of the Kingdom, but that's not going to be the biggest community that's used anymore. It's going to be Hilltop and Alexandria, and it's going to be interesting, for sure. So everyone's bringing up all these good questions here. Grapey Dapey, do you want to see Negan and Daryl interact? If so, what do you think Daryl will say? They're going to interact for sure. I mean, that would be kind of crazy if they don't. I just think that I don't want Daryl to be like, hey, Negan, come on down. We're best buddies. Daryl is going to be the Rick Grimes Negan connection with the story. When in doubt, give it to Daryl. Daryl's getting the interaction with Lydia, getting interaction with Alpha, getting interaction with Beta, getting interaction with Negan, most likely after that. My question is, do you think Negan gets out of the jail cell, goes to meet up with the Whispers, has his comic story arc with Alpha, comes back with the story arc of this, and wins over Alexandria, Michonne, Daryl, Judith, whoever's there, and does that whole thing? If you know the comics, you know what I'm talking about, that Negan is connected with Alpha in a big way. But I want to see how it goes down, just like everybody else. Janet Person, Q&A, Brian, do you think Alpha would take the baby from Tammy Rose? I don't think so. I think Alpha, that was just a thing to see how these people were and to use that baby savage, animal type thing at Hilltop to her advantage. I think Earl and somebody else at Hilltop probably raises the baby, or maybe someone at Hilltop or at I guess Hilltop now, because the people from Kingdom come over to Hilltop is the word. So thank you guys for joining me today and every Sunday. Always welcome for super chats and top chats and Patreon donations. It goes back to the channel and keeps us going and growing going forward. We're getting closer to our goal every day. We're getting closer to 100,000 subscribers because of awesome people like yourself. That would be, a great goal of ours. And I think every channel that does a great job should at least hit 100,000 subscribers. And we post videos pretty much every day. So sometimes multiple videos a day on there. Hopefully you guys checked out my book series, Fight for Us on there too. And it's something that you get to represent the channel and be a part of it and get something for a donation. Basically, you buy a book and the money comes back to us and goes back into the channel to continue the story of that. We got 9 books on Amazon right now, and it's a pretty awesome story. And I'm starting book 10. I've already started book 10 writing that. I'm on chapter 10 of that, and just trying to get that story going and growing for sure. Q&A, did you see what Norman Reedus said on Jimmy Fallon about episode 16 looking different than any other scene we've done? I wonder what that means. To me, looking different than any other season we've done means that we're going to get snow. They never seen snow in The Walking Dead. We're getting snow in episode 916. That's the biggest answer I have right now. It makes the most sense is we're going to see snow. Snowball fight. Even though it's not actually snow there, it's probably potato flakes. That's what they use most of the time in there as well. They use that in Home Alone as well. It wasn't actual snow. It was potato flakes. Chris Lugo, if Henry was supposed to take Carl's place on the show, why would they also kill off Henry? Carl's death doesn't make any sense if Henry was just there. Please answer, thanks. That's the million-dollar question. That's a great question for Scott Gimple. I think you should load up questions and fire them at Talking Dead. Be like, why did you kill off Carl to have Henry and then kill off Henry to do that? Do you not like teenagers? Do you not like the teenage aspect of the show? I don't know, because who made that decision? Was it Gimple? Was it Kang to kill off Henry? Because you could have killed Ezekiel and spared Henry and would probably have the same effect on Carol. Carol's going to be pissed, but Carol's situation is all about her losing a child. She lost Sophia. Some people disagree with me, like, oh, she didn't care about Sam. She clearly cared about Sam. She cared about, the child of Benjamin. And she cared about these people. I mean, she does. She cares about kids. She cared about Lizzie and Minka and Sam and Henry for sure. I mean, it's just funny that people wouldn't agree with that, but that's what people do now. So, Stefan, Q&A. Now that Rosita's most likely safe, I think they'll give her Lori's comic story line and potentially her death. If they don't, she'll definitely evolve to a main character when Michonne leaves. Could be. That's a great point, bringing up the Rosita Lori death. And if you don't know the comics, spoiler warning for the comic death, is that at the prison, Lori gave birth to Judith, like in the show. But Lori dies on the show and Judith lives. In the show, it's different than the comic. In the comic, it's Lori gives birth to Judith, and she's running with Judith in the prison. And the governor shoots at Lori, kills Lori, and actually kills Judith at the same time. Did that happen on the show? No, because that would be terrible to watch. Judith survived. And I like Judith. I like older Judith. I think she can be a character. Some people like her. Some people think she's annoying on there too. But I think Kaylee Presley Fleming is an awesome little actress. And I think she can be a character that hopefully stays around for a long time. I think it'd be pretty cool. Julia Films TV, Q&A. What do you think? Which movie are the people going to watch at the fair? It's some animated movie. It's, I don't know what it is, but it's an animated movie for it. So that's, I thought it'd be Wizard of Oz, just because that would be fitting because of the book that they read, and they have that too. But that old projector with a projector bulb and the actual reel of film it looks like it would have to use, would it actually have an animated movie? Like, it's not a Pixar movie, right? What is it? But I would think it would be Wizard of Oz, but it's not that, is what the word is, too. Bailey Saxon, do you think Carol will blame Lydia and Daryl will protect her? That's a good question, Bailey. Carol could go after Lydia because Lydia's mother and Lydia is responsible for this. If Henry's to blame. If Henry just let Lydia go, Lydia and the Whisperers would be gone. They would not have a problem at the fair. They would not have this. But Henry went after Lydia. Daryl went after Henry. Daryl saved Henry. Henry's like, I'm not leaving without Lydia. So Lydia brought that whole thing there too. So it's just crazy that if Henry didn't do all that, then there. So Henry's kind of to blame like this, but Carol doesn't know most of that. She doesn't know any of that. She doesn't know about the whispers. She doesn't know about this. She's going to find out about them in this episode, and it's going to be bad. T-Ray Q&A, does Daryl blame himself? I don't think so. I mean, he's got enough to blame on himself. He's got enough blame on himself, but I don't think he'll blame himself here. He's not really to blame, in my opinion. Because if he didn't go after Henry, how could he explain that to Carol? Be like, yeah, Henry left. I just let him go. Survival of the fittest. Henry's gone. He wasn't fit, to survive. Q&A, just how big is the Walker herd? It's huge. We'll have to wait and see how big it is. Hopefully it's good CGI. It's not that terrible deer CGI and the scavenger CGI. We don't need any of that for sure. How do you think Michonne will leave the show? L. Steep Shows 88. How do I think Michonne will leave? On a boat? No, I don't know. She'll maybe on a horseback ride. She might go after Rick and be like, where are you at? Tell me where you're at. I'll come find you. I know where you're at. I wonder if Daryl goes with her, though. Daryl can't leave the show. Maybe he leaves and comes back. But I really hope the movies connect with the show pretty well. It's seamless. Kind of picks up right where the season ended up or whatever, ended up in episode 906. I hope that's what it is, or 905. I just hope it makes sense. That's all. Do you really think the dead are frozen during the winter? That's a great question. I would think so. In my world, I think they're, Walker popsicles, a zombie popsicle. And then I really want to see Michonne or Jerry or somebody use their axe or their sword or their blades or something, and they just chop off the head of a zombie that's frozen. Will we see that in 916? I hope so. I hope that makes sense. So. Marcus disagrees. Henry didn't let her go. Yes, but the whole border thing would still be going on, and the king would have still wanted to bring the communities together. It was bound to happen. But you crossed into our lands, no conflict. You killed our people, no conflict. Lydia went back to them, and Daryl went there. That was the start of the conflict. So I disagree, Marcus, but we'll see. Q&A. Will Michonne leave the show and carry the kids because then Judith leaves? Yeah, I don't know. That's the big question. People are like, I think Negan raises them in Alexandria. Would you leave Negan with Judith and RJ? Would you just leave them like that? I wouldn't personally on there too. And last week's episode was kind of interesting for a lot of aspects. And let me bring that whole up there thing too, right? So Daryl and Michonne got X scars on their back by Linus, by the way. What a great name. Linus put an X scar on their back and was going to kill them and mark their, mark their deaths or get them ready, mark their prey to get them, take them out. And the reason why they were captured is because there was a bunch of kids, Daryl and Michonne, a very pregnant Michonne, by the way. She should not have been out there, even if she was the baddest warrior on the planet, Xena, warrior princess style. We don't need her there. She's pregnant. She could barely walk. She needed to sit down. It was terrible, right? But she went out there with Daryl, and Daryl was there with her, of course. Where was Scott? Where was Frankie? Where were the other two people with their kids were taken? You didn't decide to come along? You're going to have Michonne and Daryl go do it and think it's okay? Come on now. That's just terrible writing. And any parent in here would say, if my kid was taken, I'm going after to do it. Even if you're not capable. Even if you're not a Daryl or a Michonne or Sasha or Abraham or Rosita or anybody but Rick or anybody badass, right? It's just crazy to think that I don't know why those people weren't with them. Maybe they were with them and they got killed. That would have been better, right? But I don't know. It's just interesting to see. That's just crazy to see what it goes. But that was just poor writing in my opponent there too. So, EVH and Gear TV Network, hey PT channel, been a long time. Thank you for joining me. Very good. Thank you. So I'm excited to see how it goes down tonight. Juan Garcia, is Rick with Commonwealth? Again, we have no idea. There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of this and explanations of that. We'll see what happens because I'm excited to see tonight's episode, of course, and then how they wrap up season 9, episode 16. That would be pretty awesome because it needs to be setting up season 10 in a good way, because it's one of those things that we got to wait till October, and that sucks. This is like the worst part of The Walking Dead, because you have to wait so long. It's like the longest time before The Walking Dead comes back after next week's episode. So Dalton, we have no idea about 9/16, so we have no idea what happens in it, besides the snow and, the one thing on set. So I don't know what's going to happen with Alpha and Beta and Carol and Daryl and the love quadrangle, but I'm excited to find out. And it's pretty cool because I've been excited for a long time. Back in the day, season 7 was kind of a letdown. I was like, yeah, I don't even care what happens here. The Kingdom, Ezekiel, and Sheba were pretty cool, but it was just so lackluster in so many things, right? So it was just one of those things that hopefully it's been. Yeah, great question here. Julie Films TV Q&A. Would you like to see Luke and Alden singing Easy Street? Well, no, I do not want to see Easy Street. I do not want to hear that song ever, ever, ever again. We heard it enough in season 7, but I would want them to sing something pretty cool. What if it was like, the pick of destiny, yeah, King of the School of Rock. He's like, what do? He's like, because I just see Luke as Jack Black. I know it's Dan Fogler and it's not Jack Black and they're different, but I just see him as like the Walking Dead's version of it. Just kind of funny, staying alive, kind of on the chubby side, beard, sings, musical, Stuff in Q&A. Personally, I think Michonne will get Andrea's comic death. I don't think Michonne's going to die, because if you kill off Michonne, then there's no possibility of bringing her back. There's no way of that, too. And if you saw Andrea's comic death, that's where the comic story was going. Is that going to be Michonne? Is Michonne going to happen that way? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be Rick and Michonne? But, the movies, the show, the spin-offs, all that are complicating everything, too. To be honest, I want Michonne to be recast versus killing her off. Can we get that? Can you recast someone instead of killing the character off? Where is it in the rule book that you have to have the same actor play that character over and over and over again, regardless if they want to do it or not? If they don't want to do it, you got to kill them off. You don't have to do that. And Michonne is very, very popular and one of the best parts of the show. And I would still watch it, and I'd watch the movies if she wasn't there anymore. It would take a hit for sure. I would be like, man, that sucks. But I would still watch it, and I wouldn't agree with it by any means, for sure. But I think the fair is going to be like a fun, joyous thing to watch a little bit, but it's kind of like we know we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and then commercial. And then we're going to get waiting and we're waiting and commercial. Just like the Beta Daryl fight, right? It's going to be one of those things where, hey, everybody, thank you for joining us for the fair. I am King Ezekiel. Thank you, everybody. Release some doves, Jerry. And Jerry releases doves, and everybody, let's have fun, and let's do this. And there's a dunk tank with Eugene, and there's a movie playing and that, and people are eating cobbler and having fun. And then something happens, and then commercial. And then Daryl and the group go out, and they go to look, and then commercial. And then this happens, and then this, and then Daryl and Yumiko and Michonne, commercial. And then this, and that happens, and then what should we do? Commercial. And then Daryl goes with Alpha, and Daryl is shown the Walker Horde. That's huge. And then commercial. And then it's going to be this and that, and then commercial. And then it's going to be the Pikes, and then we're going to see it, and then potentially commercial. And then we're going to see it, and then we'll see Sadiq's little thing of communities coming together and blah, blah, blah. And then it'll be over. So an hour and a half is a great extended episode, which I'm glad we're getting. But sometimes it's just all about filler, and it's all about AMC commercial time. So Kimberly Barner, will the Pike victims be reanimated or released tonight? They should be reanimated. They should be heads on pikes, and they should be reanimated just like the comics. So we should see that. Well, we still have no idea about the PPP, even though Brian has a thought right there. Not my theory, but you could see what that is. And it's interesting that there's so many people asking about Heath. Heath is the new Morales. Heath's there. Heath's part of the kingdom. He's in the back. And, just like there's like Heath 2.0, and there's Glenn 2.0, and there's Carl 2.0, and there's this, there's all these little things. And it's just kind of funny, too. So I thought we would have a member of Magnus Group be a member of the Pikes. I thought we would have, Nora from Alexandria. I thought we would have, Marco, Cal, people like that. But instead, we have teenagers. We have Addie, Rodney, Henry, and Enid in real life is like 19. But on the show, she should be a little bit older now with a 6-year time jump, But it's just like, that's what we're getting. Is it a little underwhelming? I think so. I think it makes more sense if we had a little bigger death. But, a lot of people are thinking that, like, SSJ Fangirl 88, I'm calling it now, Rosita will die in the season finale. Ah! I don't know if that happens in the season finale, but we could have another big thing. Could have a big loss. There's a potential for, an enemy within a community. Some big thing that happens inside of a community. Probably Hilltop, I would assume. But, yeah. Well, it's going to be a lot of commercials there. Charmed Original for sure. There's going to be a bunch of commercial breaks. And it's just what it is. That's how it is. Got to get that AMC premiere, right? Sacha El Wakil. I've already answered this, but how many seasons of The Walking Dead do you think there still are to come? Probably 10, 11, 12, I would think. Maximum 10, 11, 12 in my opinion. But we'll see. But you guys are awesome for asking great questions here. I'm excited for tonight's episode, and overall, I thought this season has been pretty good. There's been a couple little missteps, but nothing big and major in my opinion, but I'm excited to find out what the fair goes down. A lot of people have been waiting for this moment since it happened, and I remember back in the day when people were like, the Commonwealth is coming, they're switching, they're going to skip the whispers, man, they're skipping this, they're skipping that, and it's just all hearsay and blah, 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 and talking a lot of smack and talking a lot of junk, and that's what some people do, and they cause all these problems, and they cause all these things, and there's a lot of rumors going around, but we got the whispers, we got the story coming, we got the fair, we're going to have the pikes, we're probably going to have the Whisperer War next season, and I personally hope that the Whisperer War is only half a season. But All Out War was drawn out for the whole season, and that was part of the problem. I think that we should have gotten, maybe 8 episodes, 9 episodes, and then a little per thing, but I think the Whisperer War can be done in half a season, but we'll see if they drag it out. They might drag it out. It might be all of season 10 for it too. So I want big moments with Negan and Beta, and hopefully Aaron gets to fight Beta at some point too, because that would be pretty awesome, because Jesus did teach Aaron some things, and Jesus is not around, and in my opinion, it'd be a better fight if Jesus got to fight, Beta, but when in doubt, give it to Daryl. So we'll have to see how it goes down, but I'm really digging this season for sure. Boy777, Q&A season 6 in the line. Q&A season 6 in the lineup. Negan talked to every person in that lineup, but not to Aaron. You think Aaron will talk to him? We haven't seen that at all. We haven't seen Aaron really interact with Negan at all. We haven't seen Carol interact with the governor. Really, the governor's people. The Terminus people, not really. She saved the day, but she didn't really interact with them. Besides that one lady who was barbecuing people up. She didn't interact with Negan yet, and I'm still waiting for that. I'm definitely thinking that Carol needs to be involved with Alpha here. It's kind of a missed opportunity if you don't have Carol take on the leader of Alpha, the Whisperers being Alpha. But we'll see what they do. Does the Negan Alpha situation from the comics go to Daryl? When in doubt, give it to Daryl. Does it go to Carol? I don't know. Does Gage, Laura, or somebody like that let Negan out? But Negan already got out, and there was nothing out there for him. Is he ever going to get reunited with Lucille? His leather jacket? Not the fake leather. Well, it's a leather jacket, but not the imposter leather jacket. We'll have to see. Is Jerry in trouble? Is Ezekiel in trouble? Rosita? Are we going to get one more big death at the end of the season? We'll have to see. The Fence, great question. Q&A, why is Daryl doing everything? Because when in doubt, give it to Daryl. So Daryl is they say, oh, I'm glad Daryl did not replace Rick Grimes. Well, he kind of did. He's going to interact with Alpha, with the herd. Kind of similar there. He kind of went and talked to Alpha at Hilltop, replaced Maggie there. he's kind of being a little hodgepodge leader of everything. He's kind of doing a bunch of things there too. So I'm okay with it, but can you give kind of a bigger moment to somebody else, please? Daryl gets everything, and that's cool. It's good for the show. Daryl, in the comics, there is no Daryl Dixon, so Alpha did not have to interact or deal with Daryl Dixon, but Daryl is here now, and you never had to deal with that. And for the show, Daryl Dixon should be its own beast, because he is really a badass character. We'll see him get his motorcycle back. And I don't know if it's his spear or Lucille or what he has, but, it's interesting, too. Sacha El Wakil. Regards from Germany, Brian. Well, very cool. Germany. How do you think Alpha gets killed by who? I don't know. That's what I was kind of talking about there. It could be Daryl. When in doubt, give it to Daryl. Maybe it's Negan. I would personally love it to be Carol, especially since Alpha is responsible for killing Henry, potentially, likely. But Carol's going to find that out, and that shouldn't stick over. That shouldn't just, be okay with that. She should be able to take out Alpha, and I think that would be pretty good sweet justice for that. Negan has no connection with Alpha. That's kind of like, Negan comes out, and maybe that's the way he wins over good graces, but I thought that Negan would save Daryl in the fight with Beta. Didn't happen. Would Negan save Judith? Didn't happen. Would Negan do this? We don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen with it, too, so. Chris Lou, I just kind of answered that too. Do you think Negan will kill Alpha? Do you think Negan will actually kill Alpha? Because in the show he promised to never kill again. Well, we'll see how that goes. Little Jerry, where are the guns? Where are the guns? The guns are probably there. The bigger question is, where are the bullets? Where are the bullets are the biggest thing on it too. You can have all the guns in the world, but if there's no bullets, then we'll have to wait and see. Renee's still waiting for more Aaron. And yeah, we kind of are. We got a little taste there. It was kind of cool when we saw him and Gracie. That was cute to see him walking with Gracie on there. And I like to see little things like that. Little moments like that. We kind of got kind of a definite answer with RJ there. RJ was finally interacting with Judith and Gracie and other people. And there was Judith, RJ, and Michonne there in there. And the way they did it was kind of like, did they do it on purpose so people would talk about it? Or was it just poor writing? I mean, it's hard to say, too. Zenep Olabi, do you think DJ will die? Yes, I do. That's part of the information going around. Janet, Q&A, Brian, do you think we'll see how Beta gets out of the elevator shaft? Or he'll just appear. He'll just like, boop, Beta. And a little dash of Beta. Boop, Beta's here. Beta will just come out. We're not going to see that most likely. But there has been word that Beta... We're going to get a backstory of Beta in season 10. Ryan Hurst and Angela Kang talked about it. So hopefully we'll get a little Beta backstory. Backstory of Beta. Wayne Green, will the series end with the third Grimes movie? Well, I don't think the show and the movies are going to be connected and then not connected. Connected and then not connected, I would assume. Because I think Gimple wants his own thing is the movies, like the movies are my thing. But I think that we're going to get 3 movies for sure. We'll see how they do. We'll see about budget, Andrew Lincoln, if he wants to film, even though he's been on set shadowing stuff and he's there and here, But either way, we're going to get Rick Grimes movies. And I think that if they do well, if people are interested in them, if they draw in a lot of people, they're going to keep that money train rolling. And you can shoot a movie, film a movie in far less time than a series. And if Andrew Lincoln was on The Walking Dead, he'd be filming from May to November. You could probably film from May to June, July, and film a big old movie. I would assume the movies are going to be like double episodes or extended episodes, because a movie is an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And hopefully Avengers Endgame is 3 hours long. But I would think that the third Rick Grimes movie, hopefully we get 3, but the word is that we're going to get at least 3 movies of that. And hopefully it moves forward. I don't think it's going to be the end of the Walking Dead universe. I think it'll start maybe other spin-offs and other things there too, because AMC is all in on The Walking Dead, which they should be. Fear the Walking Dead, other spin-offs. Maybe it's a Negan spin-off. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's this. But we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think it's the end. And I hope it's not, actually. The Fence, Q&A. Why is Maggie angry with Michonne? Well, we haven't seen Maggie interact with Michonne except at the jail cell with Negan at Alexandria. So Maggie interacting with Michonne, we saw that. But I don't think that we never really got a feel for after that, too. Because if the X-Scars started what had all these communities breaking down, we didn't really get an answer from that. Michonne was changed forever that way, and maybe she just became cold and distant after that, and so that's why Tara left and didn't want to deal with that. But why would Diane not like Michonne and trust her and be like, leave your weapons outside? What happened with that? If that was the only flashback answer we got, it was kind of poor writing. I still got questions. A lot of us still have questions. Maybe it'll be answered on Talking Dead, the show after the show, which is, kind of poor writing in my opinion. But ultimately, I love The Walking Dead. I support it in and out. People will say I'm too hard and too this, and I'm too, I overanalyze things in there too. I just love talking and discussing about it. And it's all perception that you could say that I'm, this and that. But I love having an awesome channel and community that we all connect and talk about it. It's just kind of interesting, and that's what I'm here for. And some people love it, and some people like it, and some people just got a warped perception sometimes. So Seahawks forever. 412 Q&A. Do you think Fear the Walking Dead will merge with The Walking Dead? If so, how far will The Walking Dead go on? I don't know if it'll ever merge. I would hope so. I would like to think that it merges around the Whisperer War storyline, but that's wishful thinking because season 5 is midway right now filming. And it's just crazy to think it's 5 seasons of that. And it just should not be 5 seasons. But ultimately, Fear the Walking Dead is a show that wanted to be its own, and it wasn't doing well. So they brought over Morgan, now they brought over Dwight, and they're going to have more and more of a spinoff for it. I would like for the shows to connect, but I don't know if that's their future plans with it. We'll have to wait and see. So I personally think they will at the very end. I would like to see probably Morgan, maybe Dwight and Alicia, maybe Althea as well. They get to, Alexandria one day. That would be pretty cool. Maybe the kingdom. Maybe they go to the kingdom and they're like, nobody's here. What the heck happened? That would be pretty cool. We're going to get more and more spinoffs, more money for sure, So Jane Woodhouse. I'm sure Gimple will mess up with the movie somehow. Well, to Gimple's defense, he was the showrunner for season 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And seasons 4, 5, and 6 were really good. 7 and 8, not so much. But as of late, he really didn't do the best decisions here and there. Hopefully he learned his ways to do those things, but I'm not sure. So, Mrs. Nina Ray, thank you for the super chat. If there's any question or anything, hopefully I'll answer it for you. I'll definitely be here for a couple more minutes. I'm going to go for about another 10 more minutes, guys. So, if you want me to answer a question, I will on there too. Super chats are always welcome. Thank you for that. I want to point out, Wit Dog, what's up? I gave you the shout out because it's just the right thing to do. You talked about the handprint on the hilltop banner, and I thought it was great information too. And I love talking about it. Excuse me. Having the different, discussions and things I miss, things I catch, things you miss, things you catch, and vice versa. And it's all a good, fun discussion on here too. And that's what it's all about. And I just kind of like the name there. Wit Dog, what's up? I kind of think that thing like, what's up, dog? But I know it's Wit Dog, so Whitney on there. Where we at? Lil Chi 721. How come Alpha just doesn't kidnap Lydia and bring her back to the Whisperer camp? Great question. Well, I'm not sure if we get to see Alpha finds Lydia at the fair, or she goes after her at another point and we see that. But obviously, Alpha would not want to cause a big scene and get captured or get killed there too. So maybe it's that. Maybe she doesn't actually see Lydia at the fair. Maybe she does, but it doesn't. There is a little question there too, but we'll find out tonight. The Fence Q&A, is Michael Cutlass doing some kind of spin-off or sin-off with AMC? I'm sure you meant spin-off The Fence. We don't know yet. A lot of people are like, he's coming back. He's doing this. I'm going to make a whole video on it. Well, we don't have an exact thing on it. Ultimately, Michael Cutlass had an interview, and he said that he's coming back. And I'm coming back. Yes, I know too. So is it a lie? Is it for real? But hopefully he's coming back. Is it a flashback for Rosita and Eugene? Hopefully it's Rosita and Eugene, or Eugene if Rosita is taken out. But hopefully it's a flashback or a spinoff. If you have an Abraham spinoff, you have to have Eugene and Rosita along with him, because we saw when Eugene met Abraham. Or vice versa. Abraham met Eugene. And so they would have to be connected, right? So that would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Them in Texas coming back towards the prison, and we get to see that whole trip there with their group of people there too. That'd be kind of cool. I kind of wish that's what it was. I kind of wish we saw the spin-off and the I'm blanking on it. The crossover character was Abraham instead of Morgan, or that was the initial crossover, and then it was Morgan there too. Would have been kind of crazy there too. So thank you, Mrs. Nina Ray, subscriber for life. Marcus Stanley, thank you, longtime listener, great work, man. Keep it up. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody too. So little super chats like that, they go a long way. And if enough people keep that going, we can have more and more videos, more stuff. And I try to post more and more videos. I'll have my review tonight of the episode. Then tomorrow I'll have a breakdown of it. Or maybe tonight I'll have a review and a breakdown of the trailer for next week's episode. I try to do those at the same time. But I try to watch The Talking Dead a little bit. But since it's on a little bit later, I can try to do this and do that. And then with March Madness going on, it's crazy. But tonight I'll have some videos. Monday I have some videos for sure. Tuesday and Thursday I got to be more in the office. So I try to get a video in the morning. And I try to get more and more videos out. But, the donations, the Patreon, the Super Chats, it all is definitely appreciated. And even not, just you being here is greatly appreciated as well. It really means a lot to me that you guys love talking about The Walking Dead in a great way. Hopefully you guys get to see Walker Stalker conventions, or you go into any of those. Walker Stalker in Germany, I believe, was this weekend. And it's pretty cool because Game of Thrones casts were there. Some of the other casts got to be there. There was also Paley Fest last night or the other day in Los Angeles. So you got to see a lot of different things in California, across the pond, in Germany. It's pretty cool. And that's just what it's all about. Strongest Avenger, do you do live chats during the break between seasons? I definitely do. I'm going to have a couple live chats, live streams about my book series. That'll just be talking about my book series. So I'm going to be talking about that for sure. Also, we're going to have some live streams during filming seasons. We'll have a bunch of those. It won't be as frequent, but I will post it in videos. And if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, I will post on that. And hopefully you guys are members of my PT channel page on Facebook, the TWD community Facebook page and a group. There's a couple things to follow so you don't miss out for sure. So Jim Stevens, Ezekiel gets it in 16. Well, we don't know what to get, but he's definitely in that episode. So is Jerry. So is a couple of things there too. Let me answer a couple more questions here. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. Bri, will you stand up and bring everyone together? Who will stand up and bring everyone together? Forever for freedom. William Wallace comes there. No, I would assume it's Carol, Ezekiel, Jerry, Daryl. The people coming together, the survivors that stick together for sure. Frankie Setters, do you think that Yumiko being in the circle with the big three, with the Whispers, is foreshadowing her being the future leader of Hilltop? That's a great question. I don't know how you would have an outsider like that run Hilltop, but if I personally think Maggie comes back. Not in 9/16, but in season 10 and runs Hilltop. Would you really trust Magna, Yumiko, and that group to run Hilltop? They just got there. And there's nothing wrong with that. We know we can trust them. We hope we can trust them, right? But who else is there? People from the kingdom are coming to the Hilltop because the Hilltop is going to be where a lot of people meet up. The kingdom is fallen, or the kingdom needs repair because we saw it. It can't handle the winter, potentially. It was in disrepair. Henry learned no blacksmithing, so they couldn't really do the things to repair it. So if Carol, Ezekiel, Jerry, Daryl, so many people go to Hilltop, then I would assume that you'll have Carol and Ezekiel and everybody running the show there. I don't really see Yumiko running things. But remember, it's Magna's group. It's not Yumiko's group. But even though I know Magna and Yumiko are together, it could be Yumiko taking the lead for it. But I think it's going to be kind of a council approach at Alexandria and a council approach at Hilltop, everyone coming together that way. So that's a good question. But I could see Yumiko having a more, in-depth part for, the season 10. And I'm cool with that. Yumiko's cool. Magna's cool. I like that whole group there too, more and more. So I'm kind of glad that Luke is safe, because I was worried that Luke would be the person picked. But ultimately, Luke was already captured. So it was kind of like, that's kind of weak if he got killed again, captured and killed. I don't want to see that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in 9/16. That could still happen. We still could get 2 more deaths, or, maybe no one dies. But Let me see what you guys got. A couple more minutes because you guys are asking great questions. Chris Lugo, do you think Lydia will completely side with the Sabres after she finds out that the Whisperers kill Henry and try to help them get rid of the Whisperers? Yeah, I think Lydia is Team Hilltop after this, for sure. Janet, person Q&A, Brian, if Sadiq betrayed the group, who tied him to a tree? Partner in crime or the Whispers? I don't know. I think that we'll hopefully get this answered because if Sadiq's the big question. I'm going to finish the live stream with this, guys. But the rumor was that Sadiq helped Alpha or told Alpha where the kingdom was and got them into the fair or did something with the fair or helped Alpha in some way. Betrayed the group to save Rosita. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. It was just a basic thing. So I think that the idea that Sadiq betrays the group fits because he's kind of an outsider that Father Gabriel is with Rosita. That can be a little tough in the romance department and the love quadrangle department, you know? Maybe he doesn't really agree with what they're doing or maybe he doesn't like the fact that he's the baby daddy and he's not with Rosita. I don't know. I don't know what it could be. But ultimately, if Sadiq, it could be a lie. Sadiq could be working with the Whisperers. Maybe that's how they found out. Maybe the Whisperers just came across the fair by there. But if Sadiq did betray the group, that's going to piss a lot of people off. That's going to make a lot of people mad if Sadiq, who's connected with Carl, that Carl basically died for in a lot of people's eyes. Not mine, but the writers did that. But ultimately, Carl's death was meaningless for Sadiq to go against the group this way. But the show is the show and the comic is the comic. So it's interesting for sure. So Charmed, I have not watched Whiskey Cavalier, even though I heard it's good. I did see it on demand. I might check it off if I had some time. I actually watched the movie Triple Frontier with Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy and Poe from Star Wars and Oberyn from Game of Thrones and Ben Affleck. So I had to watch that, and it was all right. It was a 2-hour-long movie, so we'll have to watch it. And we watched the first episode of Umbrella Academy. And it was kind of different. I kind of liked it. It was kind of a different show, and I like different shows for sure. So thank you guys for joining me. I truly appreciate it. So I'm excited for tonight's episode, and hopefully you are too. Thank you, Wayne Green, Mrs. Nina Ray, Marcus Stanley, and Frank Setters for the super chats, and everybody for joining me today here. Enjoy episode 915. I'll have my review of the episode tonight. Breakdown of stuff, future videos for that. If you haven't already, guys, please hit that subscribe button, become a valued member of our PT channel and our Walking Dead family. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, and making memories. And I guess, tell them, Daryl. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy tonight's episode. See ya.